All right, we're live. All right, welcome everybody to the SHPE de ASU show, episode 3. We are very excited for this one. We have lovely Dean Squires with us. Hello, Kyle. How are you doing today?
Very well. How are you guys doing?
I'm
I'm
doing really
excited.
well today.
Awesome.
All right, so for the people who may not know you, can you tell us who you are and kind of what you do?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Kyle Squires. I'm Dean of the Fulton Schools of Engineering. Let's see. So I've been at ASU since 1997. I've been the Dean for about 5 years. And the Fulton Schools have grown a lot. They've grown a lot while I've been at ASU. They've grown a lot while I've been the Dean. And so it's a big job leading the college. So the way that I like to kind of describe it to people is there's, if you will, 3 big pieces. And the first big piece is leadership of the academic programs. So think of your majors, the degree programs, the experiences outside the classroom, all the things that we want our students to not only get a great degree, but also have a lot of experiences outside the classroom that will really improve your, just your growth. So that's one. Then the second one is essentially leadership of the faculty and their scholarship, meaning advancing their research, the things that they do, working with sponsors, with companies, of course, involving students, and promoting and advancing all that our faculty do as part of their scholarship. And then the third big piece is basically what I'll call partner engagement. So think about donors that fund scholarships, companies that work with us on a research project or hiring students. Probably that most significant partner engagement is with Ira Fulton himself, right? Our school is named for Fulton, Ira Fulton. And as I always tell students, tell everybody, he is the most significant advocate and backer of our students, the most passionate, one of the most passionate people I've ever met. And it's maintaining that relationship with him, making sure that he's abreast of all that's going on, and many other people as well. So in a nutshell, that's the basic idea.
And which one of like those 3 kind of takes up most of your time?
So I would say they're all interwoven. So in other words, there could be a conversation with a company about some project that they want student support on that links back to a Fulton Difference activity that's part or connected to the academic program. So they all kind of go together. It's really hard to say which one gets the most time because there's going to be moments in the semester where perhaps there's something going on with the academic programs where we're just all in focused on that, and it's going to shift and move. So I think they're all equally important. And I think that, over the course of a semester, certainly they all get about the same level of attention and time.
Well, that's a pretty huge responsibility, being involved in all of those. And it seems kind of draining. So with all of that, how do you tend to relax?
So another great question. You're right that, we're really busy. There's a lot going on. Our students are really busy. There's a lot going on. So, what do we do? And for me, it's basically things that offer a change of pace. Something different, something outside the norm. That can be a podcast. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. That can be working out, and I do work out regularly, right? Take care of the physical self. Reading interesting things online, articles, stories, whatever the case. So the point is, it's a lot of different things that are different. You might learn something, and, some of those really do cause you to relax. I mean, certainly physical exercise and working out is all part of that. So it's a bunch of things that you have to do, frankly, to, when you're so busy, have so much going on.
Yeah, I have. Actually, it's funny because I'm a community assistant here, and one of my residents, I told all my residents come watch, and one of them was like, "Oh, I'm gonna work out," and I'm like, "Okay, watch while you work out," and he can be like, "Oh wow, Kyle works out too." Yes, I support it.
And what you told him that, so you can do that, that is, you can go work out, you can, catch something on Zoom, maybe he's listening to music, whatever he's doing, but again, what's he changing up the routine, changing up the day that are important for all sorts of ways that you think about your health. That's really valuable advice.
Geez, I've been talking too much. Leslie, you go.
I also have a question for you. So, I kind of want to connect ourselves more with you. So I was wondering, how did you maintain your wellness when you were in school compared to like now?
So I would say that when I was in your shoes in school, probably or possibly in many of the same ways. So in other words, working out was part of it. Playing intramural sports, being with friends and doing things that I think a lot of our students might do, which could be, going to a concert, going to a movie, being on campus, being in the residence hall, just doing different things that were, outside the classroom, completely independent of the school work and all the rest of it. But that's what it was like for me. I think, again, a lot of commonality, I would say, probably to what you all probably try to do as well when you think about those things.
And how has that changed? Like, so now we have to move everything virtually. We can't go to concerts or anything like that. So how has that changed from how you used to relax?
So it's true what you say, right? A lot has changed where right now we're really highly distributed, right? So some things like going to a concert, unless somebody's doing it online, it's going to be different. And so similar for me, and in the fall, and here's a specific example. So, I was part of a gym, had a membership. And then in March, when everything was kind of closing down, of course that happened. And in my case, then it was, still having a chance to work out online, right? Using sites and videos and all the rest of it. So that's one very specific example about being distributed. It's a little bit more individualized. And I do know that, again, you can go to a concert now with, networking with your friends on Zoom and maybe watching something online together. People do that. And I think it's a similar way, whether we're talking about music, theater, podcasts, or in this case, getting some exercise.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There was, I believe, like an Omar Apollo concert yesterday that was virtual for ASU. And also, what's it called? The SDFWC, they rebranded to include wellness, which is pretty cool. They also have like a whole lot, of resources on there in terms of like, if you want to do something virtually, they got it all out there for you.
And I think that's important, right? And so we all need, you all, me, all of us, need to encourage our students to engage those. And if you think about, again, a year ago, you'd meet, right? You'd meet someplace and you'd go together, go do something. That now is trickier. So and again, it might be over Zoom or some other way to connect, but it's really making sure people engage. And by doing that, you really do end up in a better place.
Leslie has something on her mind. Spit it out.
I was wondering, have you ever tried, like, I know like your methods now, but have you ever tried something new to improve your wellness that wasn't kind of like your normal methods?
So again, I guess I would come back to things that break up the routine. So, and again, that can be reading something new, watching something different, just finding a way to use some other part of your brain that you're otherwise using because you're studying or you're doing some work or something like that. Your question's really important though, because I think really an emphasis, try something, right? It might be a brand new thing. I mean, maybe for somebody, I've never done it, but maybe somebody says, hey, you know what? I'll go try yoga. Or I'll go to this, I'll watch this speaker. Those are really important things to do depending on the event, depending on kind of your personal taste. And so it comes back to me, just try something. And by doing that, you're going to find out what really is going to work for you.
And I know you said like one of your things is like, liking to read articles or books. Do you have like any good ones that like really stood out to you?
So for me, when it comes to reading, I'll look at particular websites, and it might be news, it might be opinion pieces. So what are some of my go-tos? So one thing that I do, we have this great advantage at ASU. You have access for free to the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. And those are great venues to go and get the news, right? You can really, learn a lot of really interesting things. In terms of, kind of maybe a more relaxation perspective, or again, change of pace, probably right now, my favorite site for reading, it's theringer.com. It's sports and pop culture. And I also look at their podcast network there. I listen to a lot of different podcasts on the Ringer, and choosing something different, right? Things that might be just interesting to learn about or read about. And for me, it's about, does that seem interesting, that person, place, or thing, and just beginning to have a chance to really think about it. So those would be some examples.
And I know, like you said, like, of course, like you have your position where you work closely with those three groups. And one of those like tasks that you have to do really centered around the students. So is there like anything that you've been working on like recently that has like been really cool in terms of like, improving the students' wellness during this time and kind of navigating that?
Well, I think one of our roles is, the Fulton Schools, we work closely with student services, the Dean of Students Office and so forth, and connecting into their programs. One site that we stood up back in March when things were really beginning to change, I'll give it a plug. So it's engineering.asu.edu, right? /wellness. And engineering ASU edu /wellness. That's where we have tips, some resources that we want everyone, right? Faculty, staff, students to go and check out and to see things there that might really help you, but also point you some other directions to get additional resource or help if you want that. And one of the things that I think is important to emphasize is, there's a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, a lot that people are really dealing with. It's okay, right? You want to be able to communicate that those feelings of uncertainty and anxiety and so forth, yes, we understand, okay? And acknowledge that it's okay, and then understand that you can still continue to stay engaged and do and be and become active and basically take care of yourself while acknowledging and recognizing the way that people feel.
Interesting. And how have you, since it's like, engineering specific, like how did you like make it so it was like the things on like the resources on there were engineering specific and like especially helpful for us in Fulton?
Well, so as you'll see when you go to that site, a lot of it really is, I think, generally helpful information, tips, strategies, and links that are meant to advance wellness. So they're sort of independent of, hey, here's only for engineers or not engineers or whatever the case might be. And that's how we really want people to take a look at it. And a lot of that, as you'll see, is really just to give people an opportunity to see some new ideas, perhaps reflect. Maybe they'll find a link, right, to something that they want to go connect into. But it's really to remind, hey, here's something maybe new to try. And it could be, I don't know, even at the level of going to a different place to pick up food. I mean, who knows, things like that. But it's really just making sure we keep that top of mind and making sure that as part of this community, we're reinforcing those messages.
And as like, administration, do you like go in person to like campus and go to your office space, or do you kind of switch on and off, or how does that work for you personally?
So for me personally, I come to the office, and that's where I'm zooming in right now from my office. I like the rhythm, if you will, of the campus. That is, being in the office, being able to be around the campus environment. I teach a section of ASU 101, so I'm walking over to the classroom on Mondays. And now that the weather is becoming really quite nice, it's just going to be a lot easier to be on the campus and just try to get that environment really back to the place that we really want to have it.
I think it's really helpful to be on campus while trying to do all your work, because sometimes it's hard to separate. With everything online, it's sometimes hard to separate when it's work time and when it's time to relax.
And I think that is important because it kind of comes back to the earlier part of the conversation. It's changing things up, right? It's not continually staying in the same sort of mode. And if you do that, yeah, you're just going to be a lot more refreshed and you're going to just be so much more productive.
Well, yeah, no, I stay in my room most of the time for like my classes, but something that I really needed to do was like make my room a lot more comfortable and like dedicate certain sections of my room for, like for at least a gradual change between everything I'm doing to have like that mental switch.
Right.
But also like I can't just be in my room. Like I like to go outside and walk, like, I still hike a mountain every week. So that's always like something for me to do, which is really nice.
So, and here again, I think that's so important, not only to do that as part of taking care of yourself, but again, encouraging, your peers, friends. Let's make sure you do those things, because when we're distributed like this, it's easier to not engage. Do I really want to go over to A Mountain right now? Maybe tomorrow, right? It's a lot easier for students to say that, for anybody to say that. And we can help encourage the community to stay engaged like that.
Well, Kyle, I know we have you booked till 5:15 and we have a representative from the SDFWC to continue this conversation after you leave. But thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us.
It's awesome. You guys are doing great work. This is a terrific idea. So, keep pushing. It's important. Very much enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a great day.
See you later.
Later.
That was fun. I like that. Okay, next up, Dana.
How's everyone doing? Did you guys like Dean Squires?
Hi.
Hello, welcome to the SHPE de ASU show. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you guys?
Good.
Okay.
Should I go ahead and get started on the part that you guys wanted me to get started on?
Yeah, first off, give yourself a little bit of a introduction for everyone watching. Say hello.
Okay, great. I'm Dana. I am a peer health educator here at the Sun Devil Fitness and Wellness. I am currently a senior at ASU, so I'm a student here as well. And I'm studying conservation biology and anthropology. But my focus today will be on talking about mindfulness and also just health in general. Are you guys able to hear me okay and see me perfectly and everything?
Yeah, you're all good.
Awesome. Okay. So I can go ahead and share screen. I prepared presentation, and then you said as well that you guys will have questions. So we could just go ahead and discuss that. So I'm not able to screen share on here. Did you want me to screen share, or should I just go through the presentation?
Yeah, go ahead and try it again. I was a little bit late on that.
Okay, are you guys able to see okay? Screen?
Yes.
So yeah, this topic today will be mindfulness and health, and this is through Live Well at ASU. and it's part of the Sun Devil community. Sorry, this is my first like Zoom presentation on here, so I'm trying to get used to all of the settings on here. So I'm going to start off today asking you guys some questions. What are you grateful for today?
Leslie, you go first. And also chat, put it in the chat.
Okay. Something that I'm grateful for today, I've been thinking about this question a lot because it's a little bit hard to think positively. So I've been trying to focus on the good. And something that I'm grateful for is my family and my friends, because if I didn't have that support system there, it would be a lot harder. And I know that not everyone is able to have such a strong support system. So they're definitely one of the things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I would agree with a similar sentiment. Today was like a really busy day. It was just one thing after another after another. And just like whenever I would, because I like go to the dining hall because I'm on campus, and I get to go there. So I like pass by like my coworkers every once in a while, and seeing them always puts a smile on my face. And also shout out to my mom. I don't know if she's watching right now, but she always sends pictures and videos of our little puppy. So I just, get to take a break and just admire that.
That's awesome. I would say for me, I was actually going to say my mom as well, because I just got off the phone with her like 5 minutes ago. And yeah, I was just thinking about how grateful I am for my mom. So another question I have for you guys is, if you could be quarantined with anyone, who would you pick?
I would say my puppy, if that's allowed. I know it's not like a person, but like ideal times, just, cuddling with my little puppy. I don't know. Is that an acceptable answer?
Yeah, I mean, anything. I was quarantined with my dog all summer, so that was like for me ideal. So yes, I think that's a perfect example. What about you, Leslie?
I think I'm just gonna go with my family because that was me this past summer. But then like I moved back onto campus, so now I'm living here. But yeah, my family, because the support system. I know they sometimes, I feel like families can either be really aggressive or very loving. There's kind of like no in between.
Yep.
But still, I would prefer them over like anyone, to be honest.
I agree. And when or where do you feel most at peace?
Personally, I always admire like sunsets. I think I talked about this last episode too, but like sunsets, and like if I get the chance to look up at the stars, which isn't really in Tempe, like that's not a thing, but like going somewhere and like, looking up at the stars, it always just kind of like takes me away from everything else. And it feels really nice to just, feel at peace.
Someone answered on the chat as well. They said that they're grateful for Discord server and Among Us nights. Among Us has been huge lately.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say I feel most at peace probably at the beach. I just love anything with water. Yeah, how about you, Leslie? What would you say is a place?
I would say probably like maybe my room, because it's kind of like my safe space. Like you can be completely yourself regardless. And I'm not saying that I like project an image, but if you want to be 100% with yourself, I think your room is the best place, even if it's just your room.
Yeah, and I think it's important that like we set up that space and keep it like organized and set up so that we do feel at peace while we're in our room, because that's what it's supposed to be for us. It's supposed to be a peaceful place. Okay, so I will get started. The top 5 academic barriers for students at ASU were academic responsibilities, stress, overcommitment, anxiety, and depression. So I'm sure a lot of us can relate to this as students at ASU. And it's just something that we need to learn to manage. So once we are able to kind of identify these different barriers that we have, we're able to work through those and provide resources for students that are struggling with this. So 60
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
Really? Okay. So for like the academic responsibilities, is that just like, you know, homework and studying for tests and all that? Is that what it like kind of groups into?
Yeah. So that would basically be, yeah, homework, studying. I know a lot of students go to tutoring, and also it's important that we also put like attending like office hours into that time. I think we kind of forget about that with our schedule, to attend like professors' office hours, emailing professors. So yeah, it's kind of everything that's involved with that academically, which ends up at the end of the day ends up being a lot more work than just like what is in our schedule or planner.
Mhm.
Um,
And then
did you have
I have
any other
another thing.
questions?
Yes, I do.
But
Actually, can you go back to the slide for a second?
yes.
So it says like, you know, stress and overcommitment. I know like those two go like very hand in hand. Like if you're overcommitted, you're very likely to be stressed. Do you think like a lot of things are kind of interrelated? They seem to be um yeah, related to each other a lot in some respects.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say pretty much everything we do as a student. I think that has to do with our professional lives and our social lives. So I think especially this year, we're having to learn to manage that in a different way with COVID. A lot of us are having to learn how to do Zoom meetings instead, or meeting up with friends in a different way. So it's just that can be really hard to adjust to. And I know especially like freshmen that are starting this year, I know that's probably very hard for them. So yeah, I think all of it kind of goes hand in hand, because most of us are working. We're not just attending school, we're also, um, we have jobs, we have a social life that we need to maintain. So it can be really easy to overcommit yourself, and that's usually when you have stress burnout. And I'll actually talk a little bit more about that, but yeah, that's a good question. It is like pretty much all connected together. So yeah, 60.9% of ASU students rated their overall level of stress during the last 12 months as more than average or tremendous. So that's a really big number of students who are feeling stressed out. So as peer health educators, we're here to kind of provide resources for these students. We know that the first step is first acknowledging that these students are stressed out. And we're just trying to find ways that we can help with that. So obviously students' feedback is very important to us. We want to know how ASU can provide more resources for those stressful situations. I know it could be finances, work, school. And yeah, so 37.9% of ASU students reported using mindfulness practices to manage stress. So while there is a lot of stressful things that we may have in our life, there's also management tools that we can use, and mindfulness is a really important one. And 15.7% of ASU students reported that stress was a serious barrier to their academic performance. So that kind of goes back to your previous question. Like overcommitment can cause stress, which can cause our grades to kind of go down as well. So we need to make sure that we're not taking on too many classes or not adding too many hours in our job or just overcommitting ourselves. You guys have any questions about this slide?
Yeah, so like there may be like some people who say like they've tried a couple things in terms of like mindfulness practices and they're like, oh, none of these work. Like I guess I can't manage stress. What would you say for like people who would say that?
Um, I would just say that everyone is different. So what I recommend today, I'm going to give a few recommendations. Even that will not fit everyone's needs. So I think it's important that we kind of all find a way to manage that ourselves. And like you said, I'm sure a lot of people are trying it and just can't find a solution. I would say there are resources here that can help with it. So for instance, I was having problems trying to figure out like what career path I wanted to take. And there's actually a career center here that they kind of help you guide you in that area. So if you're struggling in that area, I think there are professionals that are trained to kind of guide you and help you find tools that would be a little bit more effective for you just because everyone's different. So what I recommend or what someone else may recommend might not work for that specific person. Any other questions? Okay, I will get on to the next slide. So yeah, these are top stressors for students. It's academics, personal emotional issues, being overcommitted, finances, sleep difficulties, intimate relationships, career-related issues, personal appearance, and family issues. So this kind of all goes together. As students, we also have professional lives and we have social lives, we have families to deal with, we have friends, we have partners. So we're trying to juggle a lot of stuff as students. So we need to find a healthy way to balance all of that out. And like I said, there are resources to help with that here. But it's important that we identify our stressors. So sometimes students aren't really sure exactly what's stressing them out. So they can't really get the help that they need if they're not sure what exactly is stressing them out. So this kind of, if you do like a self-evaluation of this and you're able to maybe write down what you're feeling, try to pinpoint exactly what is stressing you out, that can help you a lot in trying to find a solution for that. But yeah, basically, this is just showing students that they're not alone. A lot of us are stressing about different issues. I know this year specifically has been very hard for students having to transfer to online classes and just everything with COVID. I know that there's a lot to adjust to. So finding resources is probably going to be the most helpful thing. Did you guys have any questions about this? I will move on to the next slide. So what exactly is stress? Stress is the mental and physical response and adaptation by our bodies to the real or perceived changes and challenges in our lives. So this says real and perceived challenges because sometimes we all perceive things differently. So what may be stressful to one student isn't stressful to the other student. So yeah, we just need to identify our stressors. And stress is not necessarily bad. It's just when you're not able to manage your stress effectively, when it becomes harmful to you. So stress can actually help you in a lot of situations. Let's say your assignment is going to be due tonight. If you're a little bit more stressed out about it, you will finish it at the right time. So it can help you manage time. And it can help you like have more of a drive and I guess more energy towards that subject. So stress can be good as long as it is managed effectively. And that's what we're here for, to help students manage that effectively. So yeah, it
I
can
took
affect your academic. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it was very unimportant. I was just gonna be like, yeah, I took AP Psych in high school. You know, your basic Psych 101. And like, there's like kind of like that spectrum for stress. And then you kind of want like the middle point, shout out my old professor or my old teacher, Louis Eggleston and the psychology pals. But it's like, you kind of have to manage it. I'm curious. I know like, one of the next slides is going to talk about that. So I'll bring that up again because I'm curious about some of those things too.
Yeah, so I think it's the next slide. Yep, this one. So yeah, like you were saying, it's about finding the right balance. If you have low stress, it can lead to boredom, tiredness. You can be uninterested, disengaged, and down. And then if you have higher stress, that leads to burnout, irritability, being overwhelmed and exhausted. So yeah, it's just about finding the right balance. So stress can motivate you, and it can help you if you have a really busy schedule. It can help you stay motivated. And it can also help you like budget better or resolve relationships. So stress in theory is helpful to us. There's a reason why we stress. But as students, I think sometimes we overcommit and then we have too much stress. So yeah, we need to find that healthy balance between the two. Yeah, did you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit curious. Do you think it's better to kind of like try and stay as much as possible in the middle, or like average it out so it's in the middle? Like you can like, yeah, have like low stress moments and high stress moments, but like not too long on either side. Um, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I get your question. I think it's almost impossible to constantly be in that middle ground,
Mhm.
just because we're gonna have busier weeks. For instance, like finals week, that is gonna require us to be a little bit more stressed out. So you're gonna be more on like the high stress spectrum there. Um, so yeah, it's just about, I would say, kind of balancing that out so that maybe the next week after finals week, you take a break from everything and just kind of de-stress. I think if you're able to maybe space out your studying so that you're not studying all of that and feeling very stressed out that finals week, I think that could be helpful. So yeah, I think as long as you're not getting too burnt out from it, I think so. If there's a way that you could prevent those stressors, that is always helpful. But obviously, you can't do that in every situation. So yeah, it's just about finding a healthy balance. And I think to answer your question, I think that kind of would be spaced out over time rather than like every moment of every day. Okay, next slide. So these are just some symptoms of if you're too stressed out or if you're on either side of that spectrum in an unhealthy way. So that could be difficulty focusing, concentrating. You could be very moody. You could have general irritability. You could be restless, have headaches, weakened immune system, a change in behavior or routine. So basically, all of these are just physical manifestations of stress, and we basically don't really want to get to this point. We want to find a way to manage it so that we're not feeling sick, because that could, in the long term, it could hurt your immune system and it could weaken you in other areas. So we just want to make sure that we're kind of balancing that so it doesn't get to this unhealthy stage. Which, as I've mentioned before, can be very difficult. And students are definitely not alone in this. So it's important to just reach out for help when you can. Any questions about this slide? Move on to the next one. So these are our recommendations for if you have any of those symptoms or if you're feeling like you might be too stressed out. So we're saying that you should aim for around 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. You should eat healthy foods, move your body throughout the day, which obviously can be hard right now because of COVID and everyone trying to social distance. I know people are struggling with going out and exercising with that. Yeah, build stress management into your daily routine. Find a support system that is encouraging. If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out for help. Prioritize tasks and set goals to keep up with responsibilities. And if you're feeling sick, don't go to class. Schedule appointments online using My Health Portal and get an annual flu shot. So these are just recommendations that we have. Obviously, that's a lot kind of to process right now. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about that, but this is just kind of, in general, this is what we should all be doing to kind of manage our stress and keep our bodies healthy, basically, our bodies and our minds.
Yeah, I just
Any
have a little brief,
questions?
no questions for me, but I have a brief comment. Like, these all are kind of like at this, like everyone seems like of course, like these are common sense, but I feel like every once in a while it's good to be reminded, like, oh, you should really take care of yourself in these ways, personally at least.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's even more important for like people who have like a very heavy workload. Because I know many people, they they don't really care. They put sleep as their last priority, and they say, "I'd rather finish 10 assignments tonight and then sleep for 2 hours," and that is so bad because they end up
Yeah.
sleeping 2 hours. They say, "Okay, tomorrow I will sleep 10 hours instead," but then they realize that they actually have a lot more work to finish. So then it's just like a constant cycle of them only sleeping 2 hours to like do all this work for them.
Yeah, I think as students, it's kind of hard to find like time management, like you were saying. So students like neglect a lot of these things. Like for instance, when I'm really stressed out, sometimes I will accidentally skip a meal and not even realize it. Um, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot to eat today. Like it's like just something that slips your mind when you're doing a bunch of homework all day or you have a bunch of meetings. Um, so yeah, it seems like very basic things to follow, but it's kind of hard when you're trying to actually practice all of this. Um, so these are just things that we all know, but we kind of need a reminder of. And I will go to the next one. So what is self-care and how can it affect your ability to succeed? I know we all have different self-care practices. I think it's important that we try to incorporate that into our routine every day. So it's just any activity that we do to maintain our mental, emotional, and physical health. So that can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people. Um, when I get home from school, I usually take at least 20 minutes just to kind of be by myself and process everything that happened that day and just emotionally check in with myself, which I think sometimes we forget to do. And we can do this in a lot of different ways. Self-care can be making a meal for yourself, or it can be taking a bath or journaling. There's just so many different ways of taking care of ourselves. Um, so I think that means a lot of things for a lot of different people. I don't know if you guys have any comments about self-care in general. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. So how does self-care fit into this whole theme of wellness? So engaging in basic self-care, it allows you to be able to retain information better from classes. It allows your body to recharge and prevent burnout. It encourages networking opportunities, and it enforces commitment to goals and priorities. And um, if you're neglecting your health and wellness, it makes it harder to focus. It forces your body to work harder than it needs to, and it can create difficulty when you're trying to maintain your grades and relationships. And it also increases your risk of illness, fatigue, anxiety, and depression. So basically, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we will find a lot of negative outcomes from that. And prioritizing ourselves can be very helpful too, even our grades. So I think sometimes when we're neglecting ourselves to try to keep up with our grades, or like you said, like pulling all-nighters or staying up late, we're actually just harming ourselves in the long run. So it's important that we prioritize ourselves and our health above anything else. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to this. So these are just some more benefits of self-care. It boosts your energy, strengthens your immune system, it improves your mood, and it helps you retain information better and increases your focus. So it will actually help you a lot with managing your grades and helping out academically. So we just need to make sure that we're kind of changing our habits a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to take care of ourselves. So even if you just try to do this, like even just 5 minutes out of the day, try to find one little thing that you can change that is helping you. So you can go on a walk or take a bike ride. And I know that a lot of us have like online classes right now, so we're kind of sitting at our desks all day looking at a laptop. So maybe if you just get up in between your classes and go for a walk, or even do a workout really quick, that could be very helpful. And also packing healthy snacks. So recently I started, I like to snack throughout the day, and I was kind of doing that a lot now that I'm home more often. And I was like, I'm eating very unhealthy. Like I didn't even realize it because I was just snacking all day. So I started just buying a lot more healthy snacks instead of like chips and like chocolate. I love chocolate, but just finding little healthy snacks, and you can eat those throughout the day instead of unhealthy snacks. Just even that can be a very good form of self-care. And taking a few minutes to plan and reflect on your day. So in the morning, instead of waking up and checking social media, the first thing you do, maybe instead of doing that, you could plan out your intentions for the day, and then do the same thing at night, kind of reflect on what happened, check in with yourself, make sure you're okay. And these are all, I feel like they're very simple things that we can do that would help us in the long term. I don't
I
know if you guys
definitely
have
agree.
anything to add.
No, I mean, I just have like, my mom recently just gave me like some snacks, some of the like Ghirardelli little dark chocolate squares. And I always go through my snacks so quickly. So I think it's kind of funny. Um, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I better pace myself, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's hard when you're like, when I'm home, I just forget and just eat the whole bag of stuff.
Exactly.
So it's like really easy to do that when you're just home all day.
I think a really good a snack, if you want to be healthy but still want something sweet, are dates. I just recently discovered them and I really really like them. Have you guys ever tried those?
Yeah, I really like dates. They're good.
They're really good.
I do like sometimes like dark chocolate covered almonds. Because I still like to eat chocolate, but I'm like, this is a healthier form of chocolate and it has almonds, so I'm still getting a little bit of like protein in there.
A good snack is having like soaked dates and like draining them and then putting almonds on it as like a cookie and then forming it into the cookie and then pouring melted chocolate on top. Just so you know,
That
they're
sounds
really,
really
really
good.
good. And they're really easy to make. You can just stick it in the freezer and then take it out when you're ready to eat it.
Ooh, I'll try that. Thank you. um, yeah, so benefits of physical activity. I kind of mentioned before, just going for a workout or walking around. So it improves a lot of your health. So it's improves your heart and lung health, muscle and bone health, mental health. It promotes aging well, and you have a reduced risk of chronic disease. And it basically does the same thing in the short term as well. So if you're feeling stressed out, this could be a good way to kind of de-stress, get your heart rate going, and just kind of, I even use it like when I'm working out, sometimes I'll even kind of use it as like a form of meditation and like try to think of how my day was going. So there are just different ways that you could use physical activity in that area. And so these are also benefits of meditation, which is also something that we recommend. So it reduces your stress, it boosts your metabolism, reduces pain, improves your mood, improves your memory, lowers blood pressure. So basically there's a lot of health benefits that you can get from meditation, not only physically, but also mentally. So I don't know if if everyone knows what mindfulness meditation is, but it's basically just awareness of your body and mind. You're trying to focus on the present in that moment. And it originated from Buddhist teachings, and it can be practiced alone, so you don't really need anyone for it, although there are apps that can help you that like guide you in that. And there's also a meditation club here at ASU, so if you're ever feeling like you kind of need to be guided through your meditation, that's a good resource that we have here. I don't know if they have in-person classes because of COVID, but I think if you check on the club website, they'll probably explain that. And this is basically how you meditate. Of course, there's different ways of doing it. And like I said, there's apps that can help you with it. But basically, you just want to find a quiet spot. You want to sit down and do that for about 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, make it a part of your routine. So I was doing this for a few months. I would do it. I try to do it every day, but some days I forgot to. And you basically just set up a quiet spot and sit there and just try to feel what you're feeling in the present moment. So yeah, it's a little bit hard at first because we're not really taught to sit still and basically just feel the present moment. And I think so at first it's hard, but if you make it a part of your routine, that makes it a lot easier. And then these are apps that help. I personally use Headspace, but I've also used Calm. That one works very good. And then these are just some tips that you guys can use for mindful meditation. So check in with yourself, count your breaths. I personally cannot do meditation without counting my breaths. I think that's like a huge part of it is just recognizing your breath and using that to guide you. You kind of have to be patient with yourself because it is kind of hard to practice in the beginning. So don't really worry too much about like if you're doing it right. Yeah. So this is kind of just tips for it. I don't think I have to go through every single one, but you guys get the point of it. And these are also other mindfulness techniques that we could use other than meditation. So just recognizing what your triggers might be can help a lot. So I know that we all have a lot of stress triggers and things that might affect us throughout the day. So if you're ever feeling like you're having one of those triggered moments, you can try to bring yourself back to the present moment. And that might be through having an object that can help with that. So I know some people have like bracelets that they play with when they're feeling like that, or just saying like a certain phrase can kind of bring you back to the present moment. And there's also breathing exercises. So this would kind of fall into the meditation group of that. And there's a lot of different kinds that I've tried. So kind of finding one that's right for you can be very helpful. and setting intentions for your day. So this can also be just keeping a planner and writing out what you want to do that day. And kind of sometimes I'll set different intentions for different things. It really just depends. So yeah, just kind of checking in with yourself before and after each day.
And Dana, I
And
know you have like the inventory, like the lists. But
yeah,
like for the last few minutes, Leslie prepared her own little meditation. So if we could, like, you know, like go through like these lists that you have coming up, and also, like, you know, people can see them if they want. They can pause on it and like take a
yeah,
screenshot, and then Leslie
okay,
can kind of do her thing.
yes, okay. So this is a self-care inventory, and basically you guys can all just do this by yourselves, and write down what your scores are for it. This is live, so it's for your physical well-being. This is for your emotional well-being, your academic well-being, and your social well-being. And I just want to quickly say these resources that we have here. So we have everything at the Sun Devil Fitness Complex, the health services, counseling services, which provide a free first appointment, and then follow-ups are $15. And then we have our Live Well account on Instagram, and that's basically it. I'll leave this list up here for you guys, and then you guys can go ahead.
Okay. So I'm not a professional at this, but I did have a class that kind of taught it a little bit. It wasn't focused on it, but they did have it. So the first thing you're gonna do is find a place where you feel relaxed, or like get comfortable in a chair or in a bed, like wherever you are, watching or listening. Just make sure you feel comfortable. And like once you guys feel somewhat comfortable, just kind of like loosen the tightness around your neck and loosen the tightness around your shoulders, kind of like roll them a little bit and like let them loose. Because sometimes we carry stress in our body and we don't even realize it. Sometimes in our jaw as well, that's a part. And kind of just let your body stay still and make sure that you're breathing in and then you breathe out. So it's just very slow. And if you like, you can close your eyes as well. So just breathe in and breathe out. And make sure that you feel the weight of your body. You're kind of being grounded. Your feet are on the floor, on the bed. And you're just breathing in and breathing out. You're not thinking about school. You're just feeling relaxed and just breathing in and breathing out. You have to remind yourself that you're here. You have to connect yourself with the ground that you're on. And just keep breathing in and breathing out. And then you can slowly open your eyes once you feel comfortable. After your last breathe in, breathe out, and then open your eyes. Okay, so I know this was very short, but I think it kind of starts like that. You start to focus mostly just on what you're doing at that moment. that's one thing that people do is when they focus on their breathing. In that way, they feel only how they're breathing, if that makes sense. Instead of thinking about what they have to do next or just stressing about things. You just have to focus on that one thing and your body just naturally starts relaxing. So yeah. Thank you. If you followed along, hopefully like you felt a little relaxed. I know it was really short, but I think it's a good start for people who've never meditated at all before.
Wesley, I think you did a great job. And Dana, thank you so much for joining us. If the chat could applaud, you did an amazing job with the presentation. I loved having you here with us. So thank you so much for showing up with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right. So this is going to be the end of this show. A little sneak peek for next week. I don't have anything on me, but it's going to be our Halloween special. So get excited for that. It's going to be a little bit spooky. So be prepared to be spooked. All right. All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you everyone for watching.